What's up, everybody?
What's up, dude?
Welcome to the pickup line. I apologize. I have like no energy right now, so I'm gonna try and muster some. I am like just dead.
No excuses. I drank tea for this, but it made me really burpy.
Yeah, but I work early. And
what?
I'm old.
Early?
I do work early tomorrow.
Oh, I get up at like 6:30 in the morning. Have to be at work by 7.
Okay.
Is that whiny of me to be like, oh, I'm tired? Because I know some people are like, I get up at the crack of dawn. And I'm like, okay, well.
You're young. I feel like my mic is low.
I don't think it's low. I think you sound fine.
Okay. Well, cool. Quiet to me. How do I turn? Is that there? Did that get louder or is it only louder for me?
I think it got slightly louder. I think you've sounded great this whole time.
Okay.
Well, hi, everyone. Yeah, it sounds great. Shut up. Let me introduce ourselves. Welcome to the pick line. Wow, fuck. End the show. We're done. You know what? Okay, I'll get into that in a second, but this is the pickup line. I'm Hanna Vaughn.
And I'm Ethan Micheal, your friendly neighborhood atheist.
Woo woo.
And we, believe it or not, we're totally pros.
Absolutely. I think I went on secular sexuality recently and I had to ask if my mic was muted. Can anyone hear me? I don't know how to use a microphone. But hey, today we're going to talk about falling in and out of love. Like usual, we're going to have a casual conversation, casual, candid, open, and very vulnerable, way too much information kind of conversation. So if you feel so inclined to call in, the number is 951-364-2430.
An easy way to remember that is 951-ENGAGE-0. And hopefully by the end of this broadcast, I'll have my energy. But right now I'm ready for bed.
I know. We need a shotgun. Is that what it's called when you... I didn't go to college for very long. When you... with the beer?
I didn't go to college for very long either. Yeah, that's what it is. You shotgun, you like, do the thingy, or like a shot of tequila. Ugh, never mind. I don't want that anymore.
Body shots. I like tequila.
Shots.
What I was going to say, though, is like last time I saw you, we were doing our 2020 Ringing in the New Year episode.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, let's do this. And I was like pretty sleepy then, but like it's fine. But I was feeling optimistic, thinking, you know, I know it's just a new calendar day, new year. It doesn't have any magic power over whether or not the year's going to be good or not. But I was thinking, you know, let's just be optimistic and have a good one. And then like a couple days in, like the country's being really fucking weird. And I really regretted being on social media yesterday. It actually kind of drained me.
Same, dude.
I feel drained.
This is like I want to return my 7-day free trial of 2021 and go back to 2020.
Wasn't it Dean that said it's in the expansion pack?
He said the 2020 expansion pack. I was dying.
It's so true. I just like, no more. I feel like everyone needs a paid year off.
Yeah, that would be nice, but our country can only afford $600.
$600. Apparently, that's supposed to go to my paying off debt and putting into my retirement, says the rich people. Like, how much possibly could your rent cost? $20?
You're just supposed to save. Didn't you know that? Just save. It's not hard. Just put a little aside. For those that don't know, I'm being completely sarcastic because that's what
it really put things into perspective when I talked to my brother who just got his stimulus check and he said, I'm buying a bed. And I'm like, you don't have a bed? He said, yeah, I've been sleeping on the floor for a year now. A bed is a luxury. Like he has a little cot he's been sleeping on. And he's doing like, he's not freaking homeless or anything. Like he just like has been putting his money into other things. And he's like, yeah, a bed's a luxury. Now he's buying a bed with his stimulus check. Like, okay. But yeah, it put things into perspective for me.
Yeah. Well, you know what? We should really get to our fun and exciting topic. So Hannah, have you ever fallen in love?
Never.
Really?
No. I'm super duper in love right now, and I've fallen in love many times. They say you can only truly fall in love once, and unless there's something amazing that hasn't come yet, sorry, Thomas. I think I've fallen in love like a bunch of times, and it's been wonderful many a times. It's funny when I have fallen in love before and I thought, I've never felt this way. And then I meet the next person and I go, oh my God, I've never felt this way. It's funny how it tricks you.
Then how do you know the difference? Like, how do you know you weren't just infatuated as opposed to in love with them?
You get older and you realize how weird and stupid your hormones are, and like the difference between lust and love. And I don't know, it's with practice and time, you start to figure out like, yeah, that's bullshit. You know, I watched Twilight recently. I love to hate watch the Twilight movies because they're just so freaking bad. And I remember being 14 thinking like, oh my God, I want to love like Bella and Edward. Oh. And then I rewatched it in my adult years recently with my friend. We just made fun of it the whole time. And I'm realizing that those two people don't like really speak to each other. They just stare in each other's eyes a lot and have really empty conversations. But it's supposed to be this big epic love story. And I'm like, they don't have anything in common. Do they even like the same music? Like, where is this big, huge, wonderful connection? I mean, get that it's supposed to be like a supernatural thing, but watching it back as an adult, I'm like, they're not in love. This is fucking stupid.
Right.
So I don't know.
So there were times I thought I was like loved somebody, but looking back, I'm like, that's not love. That was either like infatuation or lust. To me, there's only been one time where I have like loved somebody more than life itself, and that was my ex-wife. So I did get to, I guess, fall in love, but then did I really fall out of love is the question, because I would say I didn't fall out of love so much as the love I had for her changed.
Yeah.
And I think, I don't want to speak for her, but I believe she would say the same thing, because we both agreed we just didn't work. But like, I still love that woman to death. I would still die for that woman in a heartbeat, but I don't want to romantically or sexually be with her. Like, right. And people often say to us how cute we are with like how goofy we are on Facebook. And it's like, yeah, we're not living together. That's why we're so cute.
It's amazing how distance can save your relationship. Well, like your sanity and your civility and with each other.
The biggest thing for us, we wanted to salvage the friendship, because it was like, dude, we had been through so much together. It was 12 years long. So it was like, and there was a time where we were actually just friends prior to getting a relationship. So to us, it was like, dude, we got to salvage this. But the only way we salvage this is if we kind of like distance ourselves for like 2-3 months. And then after that, we were good. She started dating, I started dating, and I remember like the first time we were both wanted to tell each other that we had started seeing someone, but neither one of us wanted to tell the other person because we didn't want to make them feel bad.
Yeah, so, I've probably been there before.
When she finally told me, I was like, oh, yes, like it was like a relief. I was like, that makes me happy. Cool. Like, I'm glad you're seeing someone. Check it out. I'm seeing someone. Although I'm going to embarrass myself for a second. We do have a caller. You know what? I'll save this story for after the caller, because it's a funny one that you know what? I don't want to talk about it. Let's get to our first caller.
Yay!
Amber, you are on with Hannah and Ethan. How's it going?
Hey guys, how's it going for you guys? That's good for me.
Good.
Did I get your name right, Amber?
Yes, Ethan. Remember kickball for the whole 2 games we played.
Oh yeah, what's up, dude? How are you?
Hey, how are you? I told you I'd finally call in one of these days.
Well, I'm glad we found a topic for you to call in on. It sucks that we didn't get to finish playing kickball.
I know. I wish we could have finished the season, but COVID, everything,
fucking COVID.
Whatever. But this is such a really good topic for me because, like, I have been in a long series of long-term relationships, and the whole, do you stay in love with somebody and do you fall in or out of love with somebody? Love is so, like, it has such a huge perspective depending on situations.
Right.
Yeah.
And how you look at them all. And I've been through so many different situations in loving relationships. Like, I'm going to put a quote unquote on that, where they ended situationally in bad ways, not by my own hand, but just because I was with the wrong person.
Okay.
And I love with my whole heart, 100% love with my whole heart. And I give everything in all relationships, no matter what. But I don't think I've ever been, like, fully respected as an individual and as a person who, like, promotes her career and her individual life and wants to have an individual life along with a loving relationship.
So how many times have you been in love?
I'm in love, or actually loved. That's kind of what I want to clarify here.
Oh,
like,
yeah, those are
there's
things.
So then how would you define in love versus love?
All right. So for me personally, in love is that, you have this wholehearted, where you have no fears, no worries, no nothing, where nothing can go wrong. And you're like the queen of the castle. And I'm an extremely independent person. I maintain my household on my own. I'm one of those, like, snap my fingers, I don't need no man type of thing. It's really nice to have. It's really nice to have that dependency and, like, that person to come home to every night. But I don't need that, but I want that.
Right.
So to be in love with somebody who can respect that part of you is brand new to me right now. And prior to my current relationship, I had been trying to establish that a total of 3 times.
Okay.
So,
and
yeah, but I'm also almost 40 years old. So I've been doing this for a while, and I don't have children, and I'm career-based, and I finally am with somebody who is, like, on my level with, like, no kids, career. Let's do this. Let's move to the farm and get out of the city.
Oh, yeah. It's wonder when you can find someone who is, like, on the same page as you.
Let me know if this would be an accurate definition or a way to simplify in love versus love. One, in love is romantically and sexually interested in, and regular love has no romantic and sexual attachment to it. For example, my best friend is male. I love him, but I have no romantic or sexual feelings towards him. So would you say that's a accurate way to characterize the difference?
100% accurate, because my boyfriend that I'm with right now, we are 100%, like, on the same level mindset wise. We are total best friends, and
good.
I was not looking for a relationship at all whatsoever. He incited all of this and properly courted me because he was raised by his mama right. And I'll tell you, like, he went through all the avenues of making sure that we were going to have a proper friendship, a proper respect for each other, a proper mutual respect for each other. And I look at that and how our relationship started that way. That's, like, unheard of in, like, these days. And I've never been treated this way in a relationship in my entire life. And I will give this man, like, the biggest props to just being like, you know what, you're a business professional and I do the same thing as you do. We actually work together. That's how we met, which is kind of one of those like taboo things, whatever. But we really, and maybe it was more me. I took a lot of things slowly and I gave a lot of pushback. I'm just like, I'm not ready. But when I was actually ready, I was like, you know what? You are like the perfect person for me.
Good.
We have the exact same ideas in life. And I don't even know where I'm going with this right now. But
I'm loving listening to you gush right now. I have the shittiest grin on my face because I feel so warm because like I might be yeah, that makes me so happy.
You know, to finally like find another human who has like really old school like beliefs and traditions. I want to call it traditions. Like,
okay,
like those traditions remind me of like what happened like back in like the 50s, 60s when you really courted a woman and you made sure that it was the right thing and the one decision. And yes, he is going to be my second marriage, but I got married ineptly the first time, and I don't want to say I regret it, but I look back on it kind of like sourly in a way because it was a bad experience.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Can't get it. Everybody gets a second chance, right?
Yeah. You are frozen, Ethan, though. I'm so sorry to interrupt, but Ethan is
my audio working?
Your audio's fine, but you have a very interesting okay, you're frozen, but that's okay. No, Amber, I'm really glad you pointed out like the difference between love and being in love because that's very different. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I love my students, but it'd be freaking weird if I was in love with them.
Yeah, that would be weird.
Yeah, but yeah, you're back, Ethan. You're just very blue.
Working on it.
Yeah, there we go.
There was something I wanted to go into based off what she said. Oh yeah, chivalry. We're gonna have to get to our caller in just one moment, but I know there are a lot of people who don't like chivalry. And I don't think there's anything wrong with it, depending on the relationship you're looking for. So for instance, in this situation, it's safe to say you like a more chivalrous man, correct?
It was very strange to get accustomed to, but once I started getting accustomed to it, I have realized that it's just like a normal place in life. And yeah, it's brand new to me, but I absolutely love it and I respect it and I pay it back 100%.
Well, good.
I think I do.
I am very happy to hear you so happy.
Yeah, I want my heart warm.
We do have to get to our next caller, so I do want to thank you for calling in, and hopefully keep me in mind for kickball once everything reopens. I totally want to play again.
Oh my gosh, I hope we actually can do again. So like everything is just still so weird, but
yeah,
kickball for sure.
All right, thanks for calling, Amber.
Thank you for making me feel warm and fuzzy, Amber.
Awesome.
Bye-bye.
Bye. We're gonna call when I cut this clip out, we're gonna call it warm and fuzzy.
I feel warm and fuzzy, and I feel so lucky because, you know, Amber was saying that she's gonna be 40, I think, and I'm 27 as of the 29th of last month. Ooh, woo, woo. Anyway, so sometimes I wonder, like, am I just like still young and stupid? But like, that's how I feel about Thomas. Like, he's so wonderful. I just, every day, I'm just like, why are you so good to me? What the fuck? Like, he's so fucking good to me. I don't deserve him.
No, stop that talk. Yes,
no,
you do.
I know.
You're a good person.
I know I'm a good person, but I'm just like, I'm also kind of a selfish asshole. Like, I'll be like, oh, I don't want to get out of bed. Get me water. And he's like, okay. He gets up every morning when I get up. He doesn't have to get up. I wake up at 6:30. He gets up with me to make sure I have coffee and I'm like sent out the door with everything I need. And then he goes back to bed or gets to work.
Really sweet. Like,
he's the most thoughtful fucking person I've ever. like been with. It's amazing. But anyway, enough. Do we have another caller?
Yeah, we have a couple. So, I want to talk more, but let's just get to our.
Unless you want to tell that embarrassing story, you want to save it still?
I'll save that embarrassing story. John, you're on with Hannah and Ethan. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, Ethan?
Not much.
I've been meaning to call for a minute, never had the chance to until now. So
my chopped liver. Hi,
Ethan.
Yeah, you didn't say hi to Hannah.
Hi.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Hi, Hannah.
I am just giving you a hard time.
I apologize. That is so rude of me.
No, I know it's okay. Do you know Ethan?
So we've had a couple interactions on Facebook. You might know me. I don't care about giving my last name. Jonathon Gary. I pop into your posts every once in a while. We're friends on Facebook.
Okay.
Give me a second. I'll have to, once I see like the face, I'll know.
But honestly, that makes sense though. If you know Ethan, I figured that was the case, but I just had to make myself.
I wouldn't say I know him. We've had some interactions.
Okay.
Hopefully positive ones.
I had to stamp my foot and make myself heard.
Disagreement. So I'm a theist.
Oh, cool.
So
Get out. I'm kidding.
We've had some disagreements.
Geary, John Geary, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
okay.
Me.
Now I remember you. Yes.
What's up, Ethan?
How you doing?
Hannah. And Hannah.
Thank you.
Yeah, we just agreed because I think you're wrong, but that's it.
Yeah, and hey, the feeling is mutual, my friend.
That's fair enough. What did you want to talk about?
Actually, this is a really cool subject for me because my love story is tragic and beautiful all at the same time.
Am I gonna cry?
No, it has a happy ending. It's like it's very fairy tale. But it's like a horror movie in the beginning for me, at least.
Okay, I gotta hear this.
So, and it actually does correlate with my position on the existence of God as well.
All right.
That would make it interesting. So when I was 10 years old, and I'll make this fast because I know you have other callers. When I was 10 years old, I went to a concert. I don't know if you remember the band Big Daddy Weave or not. They're like a Christian band from. Now, did you used to be a Christian, Ethan?
I did,
or have you always been atheist or something else?
I used to be a Christian, but I could never stand Christian music. Like that usually made me want to pull my ears out.
I can understand. I really can. I've never been like a huge music buff either. So
just to give you an idea,
but we were at this concert.
At 12 years old, the first concert I went to was the Lords of Acid. My uncle snuck me in. It's basically a sex show. Like there are women whipping women on stage, and I'm 12 years old, and I'm just like just jaw dropped. Like what is?
So this is what real music sounds like.
Yeah.
But I'm dying to hear this story.
Yeah. Thank you, Hannah. John, go ahead.
No, you're fine. So 10 years old, I met this girl at a concert, and as a 10-year-old, you're flirting in the stupidest ways possible, making fun, kicking, all those stupid, idiotic motions. She literally ran from me because she was super mature for her age. So 10 years old, she was 11. She ran from me to the front just to get away from me. She was asked earlier in the night, like, hey, do you want to go up to the front and get closer to the stage? She's like, no. But after I started flirting with her, she's like, yeah. So that didn't work out that night. Couple years go by. I'm 12 years old, and come to find out that this girl I met at this concert, her father was a pastor, and my sister was getting married in her father's church. And so I show up to the wedding. I walk in. She's literally the first person I see. This is 2 years later. I'm 12 years old. She's literally the first person I see. She immediately recognizes me. She was headed in one direction. She sees me and she says, okay, we're going to go the other way. So she turns around and just starts walking away from me because she immediately recognized me.
Oh, man.
So we go through the wedding, all this. I actually start attending that church. And I still, it's not, I totally disagree in the notion on love at first sight, right? Love at first sight is bullcrap.
I agree with you.
I believe in attraction at first sight.
Yes. Or infatuation at first sight. but not love at first sight.
Yeah.
To me, love is something that
Absolutely.
builds. It takes time.
Yeah.
I would even take it further. You cannot truly love someone until you've seen them at their worst. You cannot truly say you love them, I don't think, until you've seen how they look when they wake up. From the man's perspective, how they look without makeup, how their bad habits, their bad attitudes, all of these things combined, that's where love is the strongest, when it's put through fire, in my opinion.
So real quick, I have to just interject for one moment. I absolutely loved when my ex didn't wear makeup. Like when she was in pajamas and a t-shirt, that was my favorite. Like, so I'm the polar opposite. I don't view her or women in general without makeup at their worst. When you were saying worst, I was thinking like personality, like their angriest or most anxious moment.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I mean, like seeing them like as their bare
my wife doesn't wear makeup at all.
Mm.
Say that one more time, Hannah. I'm so sorry.
Like I think what you were trying to say maybe is like seeing them at their like bare, raw selves, I guess. I mean, not that like makeup makes you not yourself, but like just seeing them vulnerable as the person they are.
Exactly. Okay. And it's different because like when you're going out on a date with them, they're going to be at their best when you continue to go, and then as you grow more comfortable with each other, then you start to see those more raw parts.
Oh,
I totally agree with that. But so,
right, so you see her
anyway. Time goes by. I start. Say what? I'm so sorry. Every time, like there's like this static.
Oh no!
Please go ahead.
I couldn't hear you. I'm so sorry.
Oh no! Go no. Please continue the story.
Oh, okay. So I start going to that church, and I've always been attracted to her, and she absolutely wants nothing to do with me. So instead I start dating her friends, and it's kind of within hopes of initiating jealousy, which totally
manipulator.
I'm going to church there for a while. Say what, Hannah?
So that's so manipulative, John. You were 12. I'll give you a pass.
I was a player and a bad human, bad Christian too. So
same.
Yeah.
Oh no, I was just saying same. Sorry. I was like, dude, I was just thinking of some bad dating advice I actually gave someone about a year and a half ago, and I was like so confident in this advice and the general approach to dating, where now I'm just like, no, I would not give the same advice, and I am a very different person dating now than I was like a while ago. But I'll let you finish the story, please.
Yeah. So anyway, I start going to church there. I'm in a really, really bad home situation. My mom is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, and my pastor actually takes me in. So remember, she is the pastor's daughter. So he takes me in, and I actually live with him between the ages of 15 and 18. During this time is when this girl and I really got to know each other, and we actually became really, really good friends. I stopped dating her friends, and it was great. And so, but still, this entire time, she wants nothing to do with me romantically whatsoever.
So how did you finally woo her?
How did I say that again?
How did you finally win her over?
Yeah, so that's a great question. I have no idea. The main point was that she was completely rejecting me throughout the entire time. When I'm 17 years old, and this is where the God part comes into it. When I'm 17-year-old, I've been rejected by her constantly over and over and over. She's like, we're just friends. I was in the friend zone, and it was my prison. And so when I'm 17 years old, one morning I woke up, and I truly heard God speak to me. And it was super simple. She is going to be your wife. And I've been looking at everything. I've been looking at all the signs and I'm like, I have no idea how this is going to happen. So I wake up and I go across the hall and I knock on her bedroom door. It's early in the morning. And I tell her, I said, God just told me you're going to be my wife. And she says, well, he hasn't told me that, slams the door in my face. So that was when we were 17. And then over time, her heart started softening. I don't know if I started getting more mature. Like I said, she was always very mature for her age. She's never had a boyfriend before whatsoever. I was her first boyfriend, first everything. We were both virgins when we got married, all of this stuff. But yeah, basically over time, it started to change. We started dating and eventually we got married. Now we have a kid and we have another kid on the way. And so that's just trying to wrap up quickly. There's a lot more I could say, but I know you have other people waiting, but it was a very, very hard process.
I am glad you were able. I always get excited when I hear these stories where people like were trying for a long time and it finally works out. So I am, although I disagree with the God portion, I am glad you found someone, I'm glad you won her over, and assuming you're both happy, I am happy for you both.
That's like a hilarious and cute story.
Oh yeah, and like I said, there's a lot more I could say that went down between that time. I moved with her family to Georgia when her father took a new church position, and all of these things. But ultimately, it was just rejection since I was 10 years old. Like pursuing one girl for literally 8 years, even though I had some on the side. It was, and I hate saying it that way, but it was true. She was the one I wanted, so I kind of settled for other relationships.
Wow.
She never did, which is what made her. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just laughing my ass off. It's totally fine. It's just, oh man. I'm not laughing at you. It's a funny story.
I can't tell if you're laughing or trying to say something, so I'm trying to be cordial.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're doing great.
No, you're fine. But,
I don't know if
that was kind of the main point.
I don't know if maybe there's bad audio or something, but anyways, John, thank you for calling in and sharing your story. It was nice to finally hear your voice and talk to you, and I'm sure we'll be back to debating on Facebook in no time.
Yeah, absolutely. And next time I call, let's actually get into something with more substance rather than lovey-dovey stuff.
Every Tuesday, I host a very different show. It's called The Perspective, where people call in with supernatural claims, such as religion and God. So I would totally recommend calling in next Tuesday if you can.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Well, I didn't know. I thought it was all just kind of one show.
Oh, so, no.
I called tonight with that because I did understand the topic, but I wasn't entirely sure where it would lead or how long we'd talk. So, but like I said, you have other callers, so I understand.
Awesome. Thanks for calling in, John.
Yeah, Ethan, I will see you on the Facebook. Hannah, very nice to meet you as well. Sorry, I forgot in the beginning.
No, you're good. Bye-bye.
I feel like he was just so excited to talk to me because of our back and forth on Facebook.
I know.
About you.
And our show has substance.
It does have substance. It's a different kind of substance. I will say a lot of hearing John talk reminded me of like, these were things I would say and I would do. I had a very different mentality when it came to women. I mean, I wasn't like a piece of crap or anything, but
John doesn't sound like a piece of crap, but
no,
if a guy said that to me, I would be like, never speak to me again, and I'm getting a restraining order. No, I hope the two of them are very happy, and that's a cute story.
And before we get to our next caller, I told you, did I tell you at one point I was dating or I think I told you this, wait for it. So I'm an atheist liberal. I was dating a Christian Republican Trump supporter. I know. Wrap your mind around that.
No, now, I already know. And I just like.
Big surprise. It didn't work. I know. Shocking.
Was wondering, like, how'd that go? Is she your fucking soulmate or?
Oh, no. We're friends.
The things you do for puss.
Whoa, it was not like that at all, dude. No.
Okay.
Like,
I had to go there. I had to.
I was genuinely interested in her. So
I know. You are a very, I think you see the best in people. Or you try to. And that's a great quality and good for you.
All right, let's get to our next caller. There we go. Oz from the Atheist Roundtable. You're on with Hanna and Ethan. What's going on, man?
Hey.
Good evening, Ethan and Hanna. First time getting to talk to you or listen to you. You're amazing.
Oh my gosh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
She is. I got really lucky. Like when she reached out, like within a few, like when I first met her on video, because I was going through a bunch of different people. In my head, I was like, yep, this is literally the one. Like it was, I think I had messaged Jenna after that. I'm like, so I have to meet with a couple other people, but at this point, I'm not really interested. I'm pretty confident that Hannah's the one.
I'm the
one.
Great on-screen presence and everything. Nope, home run for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
So what were you calling about today?
Absolutely. So I'm going to give a perfect follow-up to Pastor John there. So little background. Pastor John jumps in our stream all the time, the Atheist Roundtable, and we go back and forth all the time. And I can give you some very interesting other stories about Pastor John, but I'll save that for another time. But I was previously married for 16 years, and I met my ex-wife when we were. I was 18, she was 17. She got pregnant, and when she had our first child, then she was 18 and I had turned 19. And essentially our families, both being come from religious families, kind of forced us into marriage. Like this is the right thing. You have to do this. It's what's best for the kids, what's best for you guys, so on and so forth. Then you fast forward to where it's like, you know what, I don't, the whole questioning, before we, before I jumped out of religion and faith, the whole questioning, like, is this, do I really believe in this? Am I really, do I want to spend the rest of my life doing this? We had, really the last 3 or 4 years of our relationship had really started to drift apart. And mainly because when we met and married, we were teenagers. Right. And at this point, like, we're adults, and we're not the same people anymore. We don't have the same interests. We're just totally different maps.
Right.
And we decided to open up our relationship, and we started to go into that lifestyle. And the very first time that we went to a swinger club is when I met my now wife. And the whole love at first sight thing, I used to say the same thing. I was like, it's bullshit. It's not real. And I remember Tia, my wife, came up to me, like I literally had just walked in, and she made a V line straight to me. And I was in a suit and everything. She's like, you look nice. Those were the first words she said to me.
Oh, wow.
And the rest of the night, like the rest of the night, we couldn't keep our eyes off each other. And finally we ended up talking. And when we left that club that night, my now ex-wife even said, she was like, well, that was interesting. Like, seems like something was there. And I was like, I remember saying it, and in the moment, like, do I regret saying that or not? But I was like, no, that was electric.
Wow.
and I said it out loud, and I was like, holy shit. And from that moment on, I was like head over heels in love with that woman. And I had never, ever felt like that, even for my ex-wife. Never felt about a human being the way that I felt about her. And then you fast forward to September of last year, we got married. One of those things where it's like,
congratulations, Oz.
Thank you. And I mean this in the not the obsessive way, but the most pure way you can say it. Like I adore and I worship that woman, and I do everything I can to make her feel like a queen and make her feel like she is the most important human being in my life, the most important woman in my life. But it started in that moment, and I never ever would have thought that was real. And if you would have told me we were going to meet in a swingers club and feel that way, you definitely would have caught me off guard. But the beautiful part of it now is we're like, no, even though we were in that lifestyle, we already had the agreement going into the marriage. It's like, we'll never be a part of that again. Like, we just want each other, and we're madly in love with each other, and we don't need the entertainment of other relationships or other people's attention, and those kind of things. So the falling in and out of love thing, it is all real. But I think it's where you're at when you enter that relationship. What stage of life are you in? Or can you, is your understanding of love mature enough to understand that you really want that?
Right.
I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. Aww.
And
I got
so
butterflies again.
how long did you say you've been together now?
T and I have now, well, we've been married since September, but we've been together now for, it'll be 3 years in May.
Well, that's awesome. You sound like you're very happy, and I know you're also giving Hannah the giggles right now, or the warm and fuzzies. I can see it in her face.
I love it.
Yep, and that's my whole point is, you never know when that's going to happen and when that's going to present itself. And like I said, if you would have told me, I would have found the woman of my dreams at a swinger club, and then her and I both say, no, we see what it does to everybody else, all the other relationships around us. Like, it's just you and I, the whole Bonnie and Clyde thing. It's you and I till the day we die. Like, period. It's just us.
That's amazing, Oz.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm really happy for you. You two sound adorable together. I got to go look at a picture of you two. Do you have one?
Seriously. Straight up.
There should be. Yeah, there should be on the Facebook. I think there's a couple on the Facebook, but I know she's on there. It says it on there. That her and I are married. It's listed on there. I know she has tons of pictures on there. So.
Well, congratulations, and thank you for making me feel warm and fuzzy as well.
Yeah. And thank you for sharing that story, Oz. And by the way, for those watching, if you're not familiar with Oz, I do have, I put the link in the comments. You can check him out. He hosts the Atheist Roundtable. And now are you calling it the Oz Zone or the O Zone?
Oh, so my new show. Yeah, thank you. The O Zone.
The O Zone. Okay. Yeah. And you could check out the O Zone on the Atheist Roundtable as well.
Yes,
but the real question, Oz, is whose roundtable was first? Was it yours or was it mine?
Ethan, you know me. I'm not gonna get into arguments. I'll concede you had the first roundtable. But as long as I get to sit at the roundtable, and I can chop it up with you, then you can have the roundtable. Oz.
The round table, like I said, I renamed them. So there are no more the Atheist Roundtables. You, sir, have the throne on that. I respectfully concede. I am not going to compete with an awesome fucking show run by good people. So,
man,
I appreciate that. And there's no thrones or crowns needed. We're all in this together. So
hell yeah, dude. Well, thanks for calling in, Oz. Sorry, I'm tongue twisted. Thank you for calling in, Oz.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was good to talk to you, Hannah.
Nice to meet you.
Oh, sure. Thanks.
That's cool. We had our first caller was not looking for love. Our second caller was looking for love very specifically with one person, like for his whole life. And then the third one, it's like they were kind of trying to fix something and unexpectedly found something else. That's interesting. I don't know. Love is so many different things and different for everyone. And when you're falling in and out of love, it's like every time's different.
It is.
It's always different reasons. The thing that's interesting about like breaking up, it's kind of, I tried to think of like, what are all the scenarios? You're incompatible and you decide to break up, and you might not necessarily be out of love with each other. Like, I've ended it with people I still had feelings for because I was like, this just isn't working. Or you break up because you freaking can't stand each other anymore. Or it's one-sided, you know, like one person loves the other and the other doesn't, you know. It's just interesting.
There is a question that came in. I'm trying to find it so I can put it on screen. Give me 1 second because I really wanted to address this. Okay. How do you handle falling out of love? When does a relationship fall into the sunk cost fallacy? That's my biggest fear when it comes to relationships. So I could speak to this.
All right.
My ex and I, before we broke up, like, it was just already going downhill, but we were so like, we're like, well, we're married, you know, we have, you know, there's that old belief that when you get married, you have to make it work. And let me just tell everyone, you don't have to. You really don't. If the relationship goes downhill, there is no point in staying together if you've tried, if you even want to try. But once it gets to a point where you have tried and you're both just like, there's no, and it may be hard, very hard, but there's no point. You're just going to continue to make each other more miserable. And neither of us wanted to do that to each other.
Well, I see it like, you only have one life, yo. Like, might as well spend it with the person you want to.
Yes, and I'm sure she, like, if we had figured it out earlier on, we probably would have split earlier. But the final straw, was actually my cat.
Bandaid. Oh my God.
That was the final straw. If that goes to show you like how bad the relation, or we just weren't happy with each other anymore. But
sorry.
In her defense, Bandaid was very, very aggressive. And she like wakes me up at like midnight and her arms are covered in blood. Like he just went nuts on her. But yeah, so
wow.
Like, I love him. I can't get rid of him. He's my baby. So
you're the cat.
I'm well, at that point, we both kind of knew like it wasn't working. So
it's not just about the cat. It's always like it's so many. I was thinking about the one time where I really fell out of love with someone that I was still with, and it's really sad. Like it hurts. I've been the person who was left because they didn't love me anymore. But like when I had to leave someone who I cared about but wasn't in love with anymore, like that was fucking hard still. And I didn't expect that. But it's funny how, I don't know if this is what was happening with your ex-wife, but how when you're falling out of love with someone, it's like almost everything they do bothers you. It's not, oh, it's the cat. It's fucking everything.
She told me, she's like, if you lived with me like 2 more weeks, I would have killed you. Because it was to the point where like even each other breathing was annoying each other. So
yeah, it's just like, and sometimes they're like, oh, this poor guy I was falling out of love with. Like, we didn't have a very great relationship. Like, now that I'm older, realizing like, we had a lot of growing up to do. But it was just like, I don't want to fucking look at your face anymore. And he wasn't doing anything wrong, but I was starting to just get irritated with everything he did. And it's just, that's so sad. Like, I feel really bad for him. I cared about him.
Well, there is one other thing. If I could give any advice to anybody, unsolicited advice, take it or leave it. I am not mandating this or, saying this is how it has to be. This is just my personal opinion. If you really love somebody, you're going to love them a week from then, a year from then, 2 years from then. There's no reason to rush into a marriage, because essentially all you're doing is saying, I love you so much that I want to get the government involved. I'm not saying marriage is a bad thing. I'm just saying there is no need to jump into a marriage. Take the time, because all it does is complicate the breakup. Because if you're not married, then there's not as much complications. But if you are, you're just you're making it more difficult. So my advice is to always take your time. There is no rush.
Take your time. I'm saving that one. Like, chill
You
out.
don't need to get married tomorrow. Think about that. Like well, I don't want to talk you out of getting married if you already have plans. And I'm not opposed to it.
No, we don't. But like, it's so goofy. I just love him so goddamn much. I want to do it all.
Right.
But it's like, why? We both have some more debt to pay off first and some more traveling to do.
Essentially, all it does is complicate your finances, and it does give you some benefits, but just enjoy the time you have with your partner. There's no time stamp. You have your whole life ahead of you.
Yeah.
Take time. By the way, Dave Worley's in the chat, and Hannah, regarding Dave Worley, I'm a little upset with you.
Okay, I didn't know I had to like tell you things. What are you, my mother?
I'm your colleague, bro. Come on. Like,
well,
when I saw that,
decided, like the day before, okay, it like just was decided. Okay, I don't tell anybody but Thomas. Well, actually, I asked Thomas. I was like, "Hey, you think it's a good idea?" And he's like, "Yeah." And that's pretty much the conversation.
Yeah, when I saw your face on that banner, I was like, "Yes!" And then I was like, "Why the f didn't she tell me?" Like,
I don't think we even like told the audience. I'm gonna be going on with Dave Worley, and I'm gonna put the link right here. Actually, bam. On Saturday. Yeah, it's in the chat. 2 p.m. my time, Central. If I did the math right, Dave, I'm so sorry if I didn't. Please let me know now. I'm pretty sure it's 2 p.m. Central, and then 9 UK. It'll be more information to come.
Yeah, Dave, if you could actually confirm the time, just so we could.
I know my time. I don't know his time.
No, just confirm that your time is correct.
Well, he said his time because he's from the UK right now, and he gave me his time, and I just calculated it and found out mine. So
we do have to get to our next caller, but before we do, I want to share just 2 things real quick.
Okay.
So one of the difficulties for me that I found in dating this year is explaining my situation with my former partner, because even on dating apps, you'll see like things like, oh, if you're friends with your ex, or if you're going through this, I don't want you. And I'm thinking like what?
You had to like explain yourself. That's so
right.
weird.
Like I, albeit the exception of one, each person I brought it up with, where there was potential of dating, they were like, well, that's kind of weird. I'm like, why is this weird? This should be a good thing that I'm friends with my ex, not a bad thing. Like, doesn't that show
how close you are? I mean, do you have slumber parties? Like,
no, like,
okay, like that would make me feel weird. Like,
so we'll hang out usually like once a week. We'll get high and watch a movie, but there's no physical at all.
I think like, okay, no, I'm gonna just go. I'm gonna pretend that I am pursuing you, and you're telling me this, and I don't know you. As someone who does not know you, I would be like, okay, I don't know if I want to get serious until I know that there is nothing there. If we were to become serious, I'd probably want to meet her.
Right.
I'd be like, can I come smoke weed with you and watch movies? And if you were like, no, then I'd be like, that's suspicious. That's weird. And we probably wouldn't date. Not that I'd be like, you have to include me every time, but I'd be like, I got to make sure you're not hella sus before like moving forward.
No, of course. And it's not like I guess I don't really unload all of it on a first date, but like I am a very transparent person, and I don't like to waste my time or other people's time. Again, not that I'm looking to jump into anything. I'm not in a relationship right
now. Who just that's a deal breaker for some reason.
Right. I just like to, hey, here's my dumpster fire. This is what happened. Take it or leave it. I am what you see. You know what I mean? Like, I just throw it all out there. And I will say this. I have had nothing but positive experiences dating in 2020. And granted, they didn't work out, but I still had dude, one of the coolest dates I had, and I got to stop rambling, was we went out for a couple of drinks, and then we went back to her place, not like that. And we ended up staying up for hours, just smoking, dancing, cooking dinner, and laughing. Like, it was like, dude, that was a badass date, man. Like, that was a fun time.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Like, we were like dancing in the kitchen while making dinner together. Like, it was so cool for a first date. So yeah, that was actually by far, I think, my best date. But let me get to the story before the story I did promise. So this is one of the awkward scenarios I get myself into, where at times may make me seem like a douchebag, even though I don't mean it that way. So I had a lady friend over, and we were just laying in my bed. Again, not like that. We were watching a movie. No, seriously. And
whatever.
And my ex calls, I answer. Well, she was upset about something. And keep in mind, I called this woman honey for 12 years. So what slips out of my mouth? I'm like, I'm so sorry, honey. And I'm like, oh my God. And the girl looks at me. She's like, honey. I'm like, yeah, well, this is awkward. I'm like, fortunately, she knew, like, she already knew our relationship. And clearly she saw, like, she heard the conversation. I wasn't trying to hide anything. But at face value, totally looked like a douche.
Right. Like, knowing you, it sounds totally innocent. But if I was just meeting you to like date you and see how you are, like, that would weird me out. But if I got to know you and like figured that out, I'd be like, oh, it's fucking innocent. Like, it's fine. But I would be cautious. It wouldn't be a deal breaker, but we'd probably have a conversation about the fact that you still call your ex-wife honey. And I'd be like, why?
I know I rarely do it, but it just slipped out. It was just a reaction.
I mean, how long were you married together?
We were together for 12 years.
Right.
So
no, I get that. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, there was one more thing I wanted to say, and I'm totally blanking now. And I will say the one thing I'll give that person that I was dating is one, she actually was the only one that did not care about the closeness with my ex. And then two, she would also, like, anytime I'd be like, hey, can I make a comment on this? Like, or can I talk about our dynamic on a show? She's like, I don't give a shit. Like, it's cool when I meet someone that is okay with me talking about certain aspects, because that's one thing. If I go on a date and if something funny happens, I'll ask, like, hey, do you mind if I like make this post or do this? Like, I never do it, like, because some people don't like that. Like, some people want privacy. So I don't want to violate that trust, but I get myself in humorous situations. Mm-hmm. Like, when I was dating a girl with, there was an age gap, and I was like, when she told me her age, and I was like, and she goes, would it help if I called you daddy? And I was like,
fucking hell.
That's not going to help. That's really not going to help, because I could actually be your dad.
No, I don't like this.
Yeah. So obviously it didn't go anywhere. I didn't know her I didn't know her age at that point. So.
All right. Hey, did we have another caller?
Yes, sorry. We have like 2 callers. Let me hurry up and get to this next one.
So like it's 10. I don't have anywhere to be. We can just keep it going until you get tired.
Sonia, you are on with Ethan and Hannah. How are you?
Howdy.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, Sonia.
Sonia.
With a D.
Donia with a D.
I hate phones.
How are you?
Oh, wonderful. Full of anxiety and piss and vinegar. So you had hi. Sorry, let's get this in order. Hannah, hello.
Hi, how are you?
You posted something the other day and about falling in love, And I commented that I had just written a blog-ish about the woman with the eyes. And it was the story of how I met and fell in love with this woman I spent a decade with.
Well, good. Can you summarize it for us?
Concisely, that's a challenge. I can let's see if I can do this. My sordid history of relationships have been, mostly trying to stay inside the lines. I was born in the 60s. Yeah, I'm an old fucker. And born in the 60s to, Baptist people, and suffered through a lot of trauma. And so most of my relationships were trying to adhere to, the societal standards and trauma bonds. So I saw Pepe Le Pew was probably a very get an analogy.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
Trauma bonding. That's a real thing. Like I just learned that was a concept with a name recently. Like but it's something it instantly made so much sense in my life once I learned, like, oh, that's a thing. I'm like, oh, for sure. Okay, I've been there. It's wild when you find out there's names for these things.
Yeah, I tried to be a cisgendered heterosexual person. That didn't work well. And I came out as a lesbian when I was 25 years old, and around 1989.
Good for you.
And did that for a while, and then so today I learned about fray sexual, and all of my parts were very happy because they all resonated with this description.
Sorry, fray sexual?
Fray.
I've never heard that before. What is that?
Cool. Okay.
A sexual orientation in which a person feels sexual attraction to someone upon first meeting them, but that sexual attraction fades over time, particularly as an emotional connection is formed. So from this article, it said, solely sexually attracted to the new and shiny, and while familiarity doesn't breed contempt per se, it can, for a fray sexual, breed a lack of sexual interest. And when I think about that it doesn't necessarily breed contempt per se, but it often, from Will in my life, with trauma bonds and so forth, and after I fall hard. I fall fast and hard, more like a bug hitting a windshield.
Oh wow! Wow.
And I love romancing people, but there's probably a whole psychology behind that I haven't unpacked yet.
Hey, no, I feel it. We're all learning. We're all doing our best. I've definitely been there.
Question regarding fray sexual. Does that... Okay, let's say for instance, there were several people where this happened with, but does that mean I had a fray sexual experience or no?
I just skimmed one article today. I'm not an expert.
Oh, okay.
I know shit.
Well, if anyone is an expert on this topic, please let us know in the comments, because now I'm confused. I'm
definitely going to Google it. So thank you for sharing that with us. The more you know. But I'll have to.
It's nothing, because it's I've trying to find, the words that describe, that resonate. And I've oh, that's a whole other thing. I was calling about the woman with the eyes.
The woman with the eyes?
Perfectly. We start on one place and end up in another. Yeah, she was referring to something you had written.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, it was a whole sordid romance that, where there's a lot of stories behind it in it and intertwined, and that's why, God damn it, I'm a wordy motherfucker.
Are you with the woman with the eyes?
That's why I write. Words in my mouth, there's a disconnect.
I feel that. Well, it's really cool talking to you. And I'm gonna have to Google phrase sexuality. I want to get to this next caller, but that's really piqued my interest.
Thanks for your time, and I really appreciate your show, Ethan. And it's nice meeting you, Hannah. Thank you.
Oh, nice meeting you.
It's both of our shows. So, but thank you. All right, have a good one. Yeah, this is the pickup line. While it may be on my channel, it is definitely our show. The pickup line would not be here without Hannah. So
thank you. I appreciate that. No, don't worry. It's like, I think a lot of people come here from like your Facebook, and so they're like, "Oh, it's that guy Ethan." So I'm just like, "Hey, I'm here too."
That's why I don't stop streaming to Facebook, because I keep getting new people calling in or sending me messages.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. By the way, earlier today, someone from the Netherlands reached out to me from a school over there. Yeah, they're like, "We found your podcast. We want to talk to you a little bit more about your alien show and get some feedback for a report we're doing." I was like,
"Alien show? That's dope."
Yeah, I was like, "Dude, sweet.
All right, that's dope.
Hell yeah, bro." Should we get our last caller?
Yes. And then it is past my bad time.
I know. I'm exhausted. All right. Christian.
That's for last, somebody.
Hey, Christian. How's it going? You're on with let me change the name on the screen.
I'm actually mostly here to talk to Hannah. It's not really an Ethan thing. But.
All right. I'll jump off the screen. Hannah, it's all you.
Hey.
But yeah, I wanted to address the topic. I was actually going to talk about some sort of self-love sort of mantra there for a little bit, but I decided instead to tell a small story about my great-grandmother, who I love very dearly and unfortunately has since passed on. But she really meant the world to me. She had the kindest eyes. She was just the nicest person ever. Aww. And unfortunately, in her later years, she developed early Alzheimer's, which didn't progress to her losing her memory. She just started to become cold and forget all the times and all the fun times that she had with us. And she started, blaming her own personal problems on, anyone who she saw. And she became, cold and very rude. And it was very sad. And me as a kid who was only about, 10 or 11 at the time, I thought it was my fault. So how this relates to the topic is that I sort of, in a way, had to fall out of love with my great-grandmother to not blame myself for what happened for many years. And I had to believe that it was something else. And obviously at the time I was a Christian, so a lot of times I would pray and I would ask God for all sorts of, promises and things like that. And of course nothing happened because God doesn't exist, but that's a separate point. I actually would sit there and I would ask for someone to please make her the way that she was before that. Make her the way that she was when I was still her little boy who she loved talking to. And unfortunately, she died without ever making amends with any of the people that she started to wrong. And she died without wanting to really talk to any of us. And it was really sad and it broke my heart. And to this day, I still wish that I could have, just a couple more minutes with the grandmother that I used to have. And it's really sad to know that in spite of how much I loved her, I had to fall out of love with her, and she fell out of love with me, and that will always be our last moments together. Was not being family, just being her caretaker. So
Alzheimer's is a really, really heartbreaking thing that happens to families, and I'm so sorry you had to go through that, because that gave me the opposite of the warm and fuzzies, Christian.
I'm actually famous for bringing the opposite of warm and fuzzies on programs. So.
Oh man, no, I mean, it makes sense though. Like, you have to kind of detach yourself in order to kind of be able to let go. I mean, I don't know if you have or were able to, but I mean, I don't blame you for coping.
What I can say on letting go. Sorry, I started talking and then that was my fault.
No, I always pause and then I think of more things to say. I was saying, like, I don't blame you for like coping in that way. That makes sense.
One thing that I found hard is, especially because I have that experience as a kid of watching people who you love dearly sort of start to push you away. Anytime that I see that in somebody else, I have that flight reaction where I don't want to go through that again. So I'd rather push them away now and let me be the reason why they went away, instead of letting them be the reason. And it's really tough, and it manifests itself. And I've never had a serious relationship because I'm terrible at it. I'm always constantly afraid of things going wrong, and I see all of my inadequacies with the finest possible comb, and I'm willing to excuse other people's shortcomings, but not my own. And it's this really terrible cycle. But this is in fact not a Christian rant about his life being terrible story. This is this was a separate topic. So I do appreciate you listening to that.
No, Christian, I resonate with what you're saying. So in my first therapy appointment, which was like a couple weeks ago, courtesy of Oz from the Atheist Roundtable, we were kind of talking about my personality, I guess, in a way. I'm trying to think of the best way to put this. And like, she had pointed out how I'm willing to pretty much forgive anything of anybody. But then when I would make statements like, I don't deserve this, I don't do this, she's like, why don't you forgive yourself? And that's a problem. Like, I will excuse other people's, like, sometimes some of the most atrocious behavior, but I still can't get over my behavior in the past. And I just get where you're coming from, Christian, because I am.
Well, the thing about when you become emotionally vulnerable with someone and then you are rejected, it's just fucking hard. Like, you put all of your insecurity, everything on the line for someone to throw it back at you and be like, that was terrible. And you're like, I know. So like, I don't know. I just, oh fuck, I've been there. Christian, if you are comfortable and you have the means, I highly recommend therapy, just because you deserve to be happy and you deserve love, no matter what you think or anyone else says. It's fucking terrifying, but working on yourself is one of the best gifts you could ever give yourself. Because
I'm still trying to figure out how to do that, but I agree with you, Hannah.
We only have one life, and so
yes,
you gotta try. And I know it's so much easier said than done, but if it's something you're comfortable with, I highly encourage.
Thank you.
I can really quickly, because I know that the show's got to end. The show must go on. But I do want to say two quick things, which is, first, it is shows like this, like what Ethan does and what you do, Hannah, that a lot of times put into perspective a lot of things that I hadn't thought about before. And what you're doing here isn't just a commodity. It's a necessity. It's a service to people. It gives people hope in the darkest parts of their life. And that means a lot. And I can't thank you enough. And then I do see Holy Kool-Aid in chat, Thomas. Thomas had made a video about why heaven is bad. And that was one of the integral videos in getting me to let go of her and letting her last days not define who she was as a person. So everyone in this community, especially recently, has given me that strength slowly but surely. So I can't thank y'all enough. And the pickup line, in addition to all of other Ethan's shows, all of Ethan's other shows are, they do make the world a better place in many ways. So
thank you, Christian. That's very kind of you.
You're gonna come up into my own show and make me cry. I would give you the biggest. If you are okay with hugs, I would hug you right now. Thank you for.
We'll give the digital hug, the socially distanced hug.
I'm hugging you through the monitor.
Yes, I'm giving you a hug.
No, really, thank you from the bottom of my friggin' heart for calling.
Thank you, Christian.
It was awesome talking to you both. Have a good night.
You too.
You too.
Dude, and see, this is why I want to do shows like this and like the show I have with Jenna Belk on mental health. Like, I want people to watch our show and feel good, like a break from everything else. Just come here, sit down, have a good time. Hopefully you'll learn something, and we'll give you something to enjoy.
Like I say at the beginning of sometimes, because we are still working out like being professionals. We're not professionals.
No.
But we have a lot of experience, and we hope you learn something. And if you don't, we hope you're at least entertained.
Yes, definitely entertained, because one thing Hannah and I try and stick to is not having a script. That's like the best thing. Like why her and I jive so well is because we just want to rainbow barf on the screen and hope it works.
Yes, the show should have been called Rainbow Barf. I literally rainbow barf into notes on my phone like about an hour before we go on. We decide like our topic about a week in advance, and then I just want to talk to you.
Right. This is like, to me, how it should be for at least for our show. But real quick, I know we got a jet in a moment. I would like to take a second to plug the fundraiser we're doing. So February 4th is the year anniversary of my channel. I cannot believe it has been a year. Seriously. Like, I know. And what we're doing is we're going to use that as an opportunity to raise money for recovering from religion. And real quick, I would just like to go over the guest list. I am super pumped about this. So hosting that event, aside from myself, will be Hanna Vaughn and Brainbug will be hosting the first half of the show. It's from 7 to 10 p.m. And then Kenneth, Leonard, and Jenna Belk are hosting the second half of the show. But during that, we have Rick Lockhart, the atheist pastor, Lucas Golias, Anthony Magnabosco, Puck, Vila Bianca, IQ, Vice Rhino, Thomas Westbrook, the Atheist Roundtable, Neil, the 604 Atheist, Seth Andrews, the Daily Apologist, Randolph Richardson, Holly Lynn, Shanna Marie, Eric Murphy, Objectively Dan, the Godless Engineer, Mandisa Thomas, Chris Shelton, Dear Christians Podcast, Chris Mather, Dragnot, Dave Warnock, Cynthia McDonald, Cindy Plaza, Daryl Ray, Larry the Christian, the Sassy Heathen, Aaron Ra, and the Genetically Modified Skeptic.
That's over 30 or around 30 people. I'm so excited.
Yes. Like,
did you just say Thomas Breastbrook? Because
Thomas
is in there. Did he say Thomas Breastbrook? That's amazing because I call him that.
I was trying to just spit it out fast. So Thomas Westbrook, aka Holy Kool-Aid.
That's my boo.
His lovely partner. That's her boo.
My lover, the light of my life.
Aww.
Other than my puppy.
So February 4th, be there. And then lastly, the other good news I want to share with everybody, this Sunday at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, I will be co-hosting Talk Heathen with Eric Murphy.
Yes! Oh my gosh, I'm so freaking stoked.
when they reached out to me, my reply was, "Are you screwing with me right now, or are you serious?" Because I actually didn't believe it. I'm like, "Are you really asking me?"
You deserve it, and they're so excited to have you.
I'm so like they were so generous. V and Eric at the end of the last episode of Talk Heathen, they like did this 2-minute long plug, and it was so sweet. Like I was gushing. Like, is this actually happening right now?
I love those two people so freaking much.
Yes.
You're gonna have a great time, and you're gonna kill it.
I hope I do. I'm a little nervous, but
I would too, man. But you got this. Don't let me get in your head. And okay, Saturday, I'm going on with Dave Worley at 8 UK time, and that means 2 p.m. my time, I'm pretty sure. Yes.
Could you put the link in the comments one more
And
time?
the link is in the comments again. I don't know how to map.
Is it in the comments? Did you put it in?
It's in the comments. It's
okay.
there.
Caitlin Beyond, thank you so much. Just for those who don't know, every Sunday, Jenna Belk and I have a mental health podcast. You can search it by going to youtube.com/The Ethan and Jenna Show. That's Sundays at 11 a.m. Central. Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Central, we host a show called The Perspective, where I can't talk tonight. We tackle supernatural claims, belief in aliens, and conspiracy theories. And this Tuesday, one of my favorites, Kenneth Leonard, will be co-hosting with me. Hannah, it was nice seeing you again tonight.
Yeah. And I'll see you next week.
Hell yeah. And everyone, oh my God, I didn't thank the patrons. Holy crap. Holy crap.
Wrong with you. Also, thank you to the mods. Hey, last week you started playing the outro. No, the intro instead of the outro. It was awesome.
And during my Sean Schemmel interview, for those that don't know, sorry, I have to plug this. I got to sit down with Sean Schemmel, the voice of Goku from the Dragon Ball series. I interviewed him last week. Super exciting, but I messed up the intro to the show. I'm like, of all times. Anyway.
And my lights went out in the middle of last week's stream.
Oh, yeah. Spooky.
We are not professionals, but we will be.
One day.
Yeah.
Thank you to our top tier patrons: Jonathan Friedel, Mercy Faye, Cindy Plaza, Kenneth Leonard, Kathy Letto, JumpandShoot, Ian, Oz, and Philip Leitch. All of you are awesome. And the rest of the patrons are in the description. Everyone have a safe and wonderful week. Don't kill each other out there. And that's all I got.
Don't storm any buildings that you don't belong in.
No. Good night.
All right, bye.
Bye.